Good morning, neighbors. The hidden costs of commercial nuclear power. Now, they aren't really hidden, but that's what we'll call it, because you have to go looking for these things. You have to be able to ask the questions and wonder, what is this commercial thing costing us? Well, this communist type power source, this big brother type of power source, where there's only a few players in this game now, right? Security. Nuclear power plant security. You ever ask what is the cost of that? It's hard to ask what that means to find out what a commercial nuclear power plant security is, which is a good thing because it should be effective against whoever tries to infiltrate a commercial nuclear power plant. And that we know those measures are. We haven't heard about intrusions into U.S. plants, or particularly any plants. But according to cleantechnica.com, every nuclear power plant costs about $8 million per reactor per year. $8.5 million is the quote from this article. Per plant. That security includes new facilities, existing facilities, shut down facilities, shuttered facilities, because this nuclear waste is a weapon. That's a challenge. That's a challenge to our geniuses that are selling this. If you notice, the people selling these reactors, the names behind them, are not putting one in their neighborhood. Matter of fact, their neighborhoods tend to be very far away from these things. If you notice, it's like, name a billionaire that lives among a chemical refinery area. Name one. So that goes back to a ProPublica article about sacrifice zones. Why cheap neighborhoods at the end of runways, usually. Or very expensive neighborhoods are at the end of runways. And they probably got a tax write-off for doing that. A tax break for building a runway in their neighborhood. But on the good side, they're using leaded fuel and they're making themselves more ignorant. So, well, back to nuclear power, nuclear waste, nuclear avarice, untold parts of the conversation. One of the reasons I'm aware of this is spending a considerable amount of time on the Hanford Reservation area, which has both the Hanford site. It has multitudes of nuclear and advanced research centers located up in that area. Tiny little shops run by some of the largest corporations in the world. Being protected, part of a protection zone around that whole area that is not easy to scope out and see and feel. And you'll never get a full idea of the tendrils of security that surround the facilities there, which is a good thing. But that's taxpayer dollars. That's a write-off for the posers selling this stuff, so they can spend money and have parties in space. This is the level of this game. This goes back to working politics. Politics sets the law, the legal structures of this nation, and the tax write-offs. So enjoyed by everybody. I was guilty of that. I still am. Only I don't have any money to tax. So, nuclear waste, what does it create? It creates presentations like this, from people trying to figure out who the hell's in charge. Dishonest, disingenuous conversations that don't include the life cycles of the full system, the full process, particularly in this case the fuel cycle. The coal fuel cycle, we've known about coal pollution for generations now. These corporations, these massive coal-fired plants sitting out a lot in the middle of nowhere, polluted whole parts of the nation. And they knew better. They avoided putting the scrubbers on those facilities because party and yachts, I guess. Go hang out with the likes of Jeffrey Epstein's and go party on islands in foreign nations with despots running them. So, nuclear power. I hope the conversations are had. If you are involved with Hanford at all, comment period is open. If you do take those opportunities, you should make some comments about the Hanford site. Try to keep them constructive. Politicians make a lot of money on these things, and that's not hard to find. Pieces out. Thanks for listening.